ESPN's Jon Sciambi with Armin in the Vac. He's got the call tonight, 8:07 first pitch, right here on 104.5 The Team. Mets at Dodgers, Game 5 of the NLDS. Boog, it's DeGrom against Greinke. Who has the edge in that pitching matchup?
Oh, man. I mean, look, from a resume and experience standpoint, I guess you lean Greinke. I'm a strikeout pitcher guy, so I do like that aspect. I don't know that DeGrom's going to go out there and strike out 13 again, but Greinke lets the ball be put in play more frequently. It's one of the things that, is a little different about him. But, you're at home. I don't think that there's one advantage one way or the other, but I do look at, I'd rather be the team that bats last. I don't think that that's a small thing, but it's tight. There's no doubt. And I'm really curious to see how it plays out.
Now, I heard Sutcliffe today say that with pitchers as evenly matched as these two, and I'm asking everybody, it's going to come down to a managerial decision, something they do or don't do that costs them the game. In that situation, who do you give the edge to, Mattingly or Collins?
I don't agree with Sutton. I work with him every Wednesday, so I just don't. Look, guys, in this postseason, 50% of all runs have come on home runs. This game is going to turn, I think, on a ball being hit over the fence. I don't think it's going to be a managerial decision. If it is, it's going to be criticism, but in reality, it's personnel. So here's what I think is going to happen tonight. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think both guys will pitch well. I do think that someone's probably going to hit a home run, and that'll be the difference at some point in the game. And then the one other real crucial thing to me is this. I think it's reasonable to expect both these guys to go 6 or 7. So somewhere between 18 and 21 outs is what they'll get. Both guys like their closers. Jansen obviously better than Familia. Who gets the outs, though, between DeGrom and Familia, and on the Dodgers side between Greinke and Jansen? I think those are the crucial questions. And obviously, in both instances, they would love to just be able to hand it over to the closer. And Don Mattingly probably feels a little bit better because Chris Hatcher has pitched well in this series, that he has a guy that can be a little bit of a bridge. But I think that's the crucial thing here tonight is who gets the outs, who's the bridge between the starter and the closer, because for both of these teams, it has been an Achilles heel.
Sciambi with Armin in the Vac. He has the call tonight, 8:07, right here on 104.5 The Team, ESPN Radio. Mets, Dodgers, Game 5. Outside of the pitching staff, who is the X factor for the Mets tonight?
Michael Conforto, maybe, because I'm a big fan of his. I think, he's someone that has good strike zone judgment. We already saw the power in this series. I think Conforto could be a guy that could, come up with a big hit.
We heard Mets manager Terry Collins call this gravy. Is there any way that, you're closer to baseball than just about anybody I know, that you look at this season, if you don't get past the NLCS or you're Mets and you go, well, at least we had some gravy. Everything's fine now. We had a good year.
Yeah, I don't think that they really look at it like that right now. When you get some distance, then it's a little easier to look at it that way. But I don't believe that that's the way that they go into it, thinking. I understand the thought process with both the Cubs and the Mets. People didn't anticipate this, but once you're in it, then it's not like it doesn't still sting. I mean, I don't think people anticipated that the Rangers were going to be where they are, and the Astros the same thing. So with more distance, I think it's easier to swallow that. I think it's real. I mean, again, you should be proud. People didn't expect you to get that far, and in the instance of the Cubs, the Mets, and the Astros, you're all ahead of schedule. But I think that in the moment it stings.
Sciambi calling the game tonight, 8:07 first pitch. Curtis Granderson, former Yankee, now Met. The difference that he's made in this series, Boog.
He has been sensational. I mean, his at-bats have been so good. So good. I mean, he's worked walks, he's gotten hits, he's hit lefties. I've been really impressed with him. He's made a monster difference. And he and Kevin Long, we worked with, obviously, last year, but also with the Yankees. He's gotten back to that, grinded out plate approach. And this year, he had his highest on-base percentage since 2011. And he's been a huge factor in this series. It feels like he's perpetually on base. And tonight, again, it's a hallmark of the Mets. They were fifth in the league in pitches per plate appearance. Cubs led the majors. So if you're looking for, a thread for success, you guys remember watching those Yankees-Red Sox teams, and even though offense isn't the same as it was back in the early 2000s, the Yankees and Red Sox won with high on-base percentage teams, big-time pitches per plate appearance, and that's the way the Mets are trying to do it, and that's the way the Cubs do it.
Boog, does Chase Utley play tonight?
That's a great question. I'm going to say no, but I think that he likes Howie Kendrick. I think we're getting a little bit lost in and I understand why you ask, and people were talking about the other night. Chase Utley was bad this year, fellas. And I mean, as bad as he was with the Phillies, he was even worse with the Dodgers. And hasn't been especially good in a while. So, Howie Kendrick's a better player than Chase Utley. I understand the platoon advantage and that you want to look at that, but I would say Howie Kendrick starts. I think that the question becomes, Grandal, is he healthy enough to play? And then in center field, the last time there was this matchup, Jock Peterson started. I think that Kike Hernandez will start.
Well, and Boog, you know why it's still a topic of conversation is because Chase Utley is a Mets killer. He was with the Phillies, and Mets fans genuinely hate him, and now he is literally because he's literally taking out Mets. That's why it's still a conversation here. You know what I mean? There is hate towards this man that's built up to now this.
Yeah, and they let him have it the other night. Rollins as well. Jimmy Rollins has had his fair share of hits against the Mets, and hasn't been shy about saying so. But it's there's no question. It's interesting to watch what these lineups will end up looking like. I don't think there's anything that's going to blow us away, though.
Which team would have a better shot at beating the Cubs, Dodgers or Mets?
Probably the Dodgers, but I think that it's kind of push. I don't think that there's a big difference between any of the three teams. That would be my thought. I look at matchup right now, and look, the one thing with the Dodgers that makes it, they win the division, but in a playoff series, they're about to play a playoff series where they're going to start Greinke and Kershaw in 4 of their 5 games. Now, I don't know how it's going to play out tonight, but I can tell you guys this, probability-wise, that when Greinke and Kershaw are starting, you're going to win most of those playoff series. So, again, in the playoffs, it cuts down on the amount of time you see the other pitchers. So, that's why I would give a slight nod to the Dodgers.
Any issue with Batista's bat flip?
God, no. More of that, please. More. Look, if you can't celebrate something like that in the moment, then I can't help you. I mean, what are we doing this for? What's the point? And I get so tired of it. And it's the only sport that we have this discussion. The only sport. Nobody wants to fight anybody in football because of a celebration. Nobody wants to fight anybody in basketball because of a celebration. It's only this sport, and it's tired, man. I mean, look, I understand that it is a discussion, and I know this is as extreme as it gets, but it's like, this is as big a moment as the Blue Jays have had in 20-some-odd years.
Yep.
I get tired of it, and I do understand, but look, if you deconstruct some of the comments, Sam Dyson said something. He said, he's a role model, and this is what kids do. The way Batista reacted is what Dyson said. It's like what kids do in wiffle ball games in the backyard. Yeah, that's right. It's fun.
Yep.
It's fun.
Right.
That's what they're supposed to be doing. This isn't church, man. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Boog Sciambi.
Respect the game crowd. I don't have time for the respect the game crowd. I'm sorry.
2015. Let's have fun. I got you. Boog Sciambi with Armin and Levac. You're going to hear him call the game tonight right here on ESPN Radio. And then Boog, throughout the CS and the World Series, we'll be hearing you on ESPN Radio and be watching you on ESPN Baseball tonight, correct?
You bet. I will have the NLCS for radio, and then I'll be at the World Series for baseball tonight.
Hell yeah. Calling Game 5 tonight, man. That's sick. Have a great time. Thank you so much. You just did a Sports Center hit a few minutes ago. Now you're jumping on with us. Then you're headed to the stadium. Thanks so much for spending a few minutes with us, man. It means a lot.
You got it, fellas.